Ever since we opened our eyes in this world, we have seen the world working in a specific way. Things used to move freely across borders, and supply chains were spread across continents. Money used to flow rapidly from one country to another. This is called globalization. But today, we are seeing its end. But what does this mean? Well, to understand this, we have to go into history. After World War II, the world was completely shattered. Entire countries were destroyed. Crores, tens of millions of people had died. And everyone had understood one thing very clearly, that another world war cannot be allowed to happen again. That is why a new global system was created. The idea was simple, that now countries would become economically dependent on each other, and trade would bind them together. Growth and stability would replace the wars of all times. But this system needed cooperation, shared rules, and enforcement. That is why every major region of the world was given a role. China became the world's factory. It produced cheap goods at such a scale and cost that no other country in the world could compete with. Japan played the role of the lender. It kept interest rates very low and provided flow liquidity, which ran the financial system smoothly. Europe focused on consumption, social stability, and welfare, and relied on imported energy and manufactured goods. And America became the enforcer, which gave the world military security and a reserve currency. The dollar became the only choice for world trade. Oil could only be bought with the dollar. In exchange for this, America guaranteed the security of the world's trade routes and also guaranteed that this system would keep running. This structure created that thing which some economists call the rule-based order, meaning if you played according to the rules, you got access to markets, investment, and security. If you did not follow the rules, you had to face sanctions, isolation, or war. This system worked just like this, and for a long period it worked very well, at least on the surface. If you were an investor, this was the golden age. Stocks were rising, capital was flowing freely, and retirements were being funded. The profits of big corporations exploded. But if you were an average worker, especially in America, the story was a bit different. Opportunities became hollow. America moved away from producing things and became more dependent on financial services, technology, and loans. This thing made America rich on paper, but in reality, it had become weak. The middle class shrunk, money came into only a few hands, and America became dependent on other countries for basic things. This was no accident. This was the price of keeping this system alive. Because to maintain globalization, you don't just need peace. You need constant pressure. You need permanent enforcement. You need wars at all times. And then this price became too high for America. Because today, some countries have started raising questions about this system. Instead of using the dollar, they have started trading directly with each other. Instead of relying on Western markets, they have made their own markets. Instead of following rules, they have challenged the rules, and this is where the problem has started. The old system now cannot be fully enforced again without triggering a world war. But no one wants a world war now. Sanctions have had no value since alternative trade networks have become strong. In recent global meetings, even those who took the most advantage of globalization have accepted one thing, that this system has failed the West. It has failed American workers, and it is no longer sustainable. So now the question is not how do we protect globalization. The question is, what thing will replace it? And to understand this, you have to understand the players. There are 4 major power groups in the world that decide what should happen next. The first group is global finance. This is that money which belongs to no country. It does not care about borders, flags, or national identity. It cares about only one thing, and that is movement. This is fast, liquid, controllable money. In a globalized world, this kind of power flourishes a lot. But in a non-globalized world, borders create friction, because then all countries have different currencies, different rules, and different systems. And here come tokenized assets, digital money, and automated systems. If money can move instantly across the whole world without governments slowing it down, then the power of finance increases, even if, as a result, countries break apart. The second group is banks and central institutions. These are the old gatekeepers. Their power comes from controlling credit, deposits, and money creation. But now they are in danger. If private systems replace them and if money becomes programmable without them, they will become irrelevant. That is why their response is digital national currencies. Money that looks modern, but will be centrally controlled. This step has been taken by banks only for survival. The third group is sovereign states. These are those countries that value control more than growth. They don't care if markets underperform. They don't care if investors complain. They care about energy independence, food security, and military control. They are ready to accept economic pain to maintain their control. And this is the reason why globalization threatens them. Open capital means open influence, and open influence means lost control. The fourth group is technology. Technology doesn't care who is in charge. It works with whoever funds it, governments, corporations, or financial institutions. Its power comes from data, automation, and scale. As globalization breaks, technology will become even more valuable because it replaces that thing which trust and cooperation used to do before: digital IDs, automated enforcement, and algorithm-based decision-making. So in short, efficiency will replace consensus. The fifth group is the enforcers, meaning military institutions. Its role is simple: whatever system exists, it enforces it. Its purpose is not ideology or morality, but only stability. So now let's discuss what exactly is going to happen in the future. Look, we are not going towards some chaos. Rather, we are perhaps going toward restructuring. A system where global trade will be less and regional trade will be more. Where dependence will be less and duplication will be more. Where friction will also be more and control will also be more. This is not good versus evil. This is power versus power. And whatever you are seeing right now, headlines, conflicts, protests, all this is just a theater. What you are seeing is just positioning. Who looks how strong, who looks weak, and who gets leverage in the new world order. The most important thing is that when a system changes, it doesn't change by making a loud noise. It just quietly becomes normalized. So instead of asking what is going to happen next, you ask what kind of world are these systems preparing us for? Because once you see the pattern, the future stops feeling random and you start to understand everything.